We'll start with a style called Big Band Foxtrot, and for you Estey owners, it is found on the ballroom category on page 2. And all I did is I selected Big Band Foxtrot, okay, and then I touch 1 through 16 auto setup, and that very simply just sets up the 16 presets with the different setups. I noticed there's some people that may not been on in some of our classes. The way the 1 through 16 works on the MK-5000 is pretty marvelous. When Marco designed this, he did having a background in multiple products, from Yamaha to Lowry to Techniques to Roland, what have you. Being involved in the Lowry world, he understood where most of our students would enjoy. So he did some grouping in a concept that most people thought would be great, and so I thought it was excellent. So the first 4 are the most ideal settings for that product. So think about our beginners models. We have an Estey Discovery 3 behind me there, and then somewhere over there's a Freedom 3. They only have 1 auto setup on it. Naturally, it's a smaller product. And so that one setup has to be kind of the best setting for that style, whatever style I choose, okay? On the MK, because you have 16, 1 through 4 is really like the 4 of the best settings for that style. So there may be a variety. The next 4 grouping, we figured since this is an organ, we put some organ combinations. When I say we, he did it. And then 9 through 12 are solo type sounds that you could do solo. Solo meaning maybe no harmonies, what have you, or that'd be great for that style. And a solo doesn't mean you go off and do a solo. Sometimes you play another part of the song as a solo, okay? And then the next 4 presets are harmony based. So I don't know which ones I'm going to push. I'm just going to push around until if I like it. Sometimes I find one and I just stay there because I like it so much. All right, so here we go. Let's see, now that I'm officially out of my sound check. This song, this is one, that's a great intro. So this song here, was one of the first songs that I learned in my first 3 months. One of the big band songs. I had to learn your typical Mary Ann, you know, all the stuff we were teaching level 1. But as I started to branch out there, I was like, what should I learn? This was one of them. A couple of them. Sentimental Journey was actually, it was one of our demonstration songs on the beginner's model. And then eventually I learned Moonglow. So let's see if I remember how to play it though. All right, here we go. But I want to do something, and I'll tell you what I'm doing afterwards. All right, here we go. if I can pull it off. Oh, thank you. Well, that was fun. There were some things I did there that I didn't think of doing, so let me share what I was doing. Now, I have a window put up that I could lock, so if you notice every now and then I had to keep going up and pushing it, and there's a reason. So I use that setting. I just used the first 4 presets, by the way. I got kind of stuck on those. They were great. I laughed a few times because I knew I was hitting the wrong chord. I was like, what's the right chord in that song? I can't remember, D7. So what I did is, and last time I moved that camera, and I'm reluctant to doing this, but at the risk of giving you motion sickness. So let me switch to this camera here, and I'll do my best to keep it. I got to get another tripod. You ever have something you need to do, and it's like simple, you just go online, maybe order it, and I go, I'm going to get a tripod. I got to do it. And then a month later, I never got that tripod. I'm going to do it today. All right, replace spotlight. Okay, I'm going to do my best to keep it steady. You Zoomers out there. I don't know if the lighting is good in this, but okay. So on the screen here, you'll notice there's a motion sensor here, okay? And I set it up the way I wanted it, okay? And what I did is I went to my menu. Now, normally the menu's on this page here, okay? And then I went up to, or down to the second page, and I went to number 12. And in there, in that screen there, it shows motion, and it's currently off, okay? So what I did is I set up the style. Let me turn this down. Okay. So what I did is I just reached up and I set it to fill 1 or 2. So that way, when I was playing, all I had to do is wave my hand. And fill 1's a little more simple on this one. Number 2, let's see. And then depending on your variations, it's also going to alter that. So here we go. Okay. So what happened though, however, is I went to the next preset. You'll notice that the motion was off. It turned off. So if you saw me reaching up repeatedly, it's because I was going up here and bringing it back. Now there is a function in the menu that if I think I'm going to keep it on that for a while, all I have to do is go to this lock. I'm trying to do this watching at the same time here. Okay, so when I go to the lock, you'll see that there's a motion sensor lock. And you either have it, let me try to do this one more. There we go. On or off. It's pretty simple. I'm going to leave it off now because sometimes I forget, and then inevitably what happens is I'm trying to do something else and I do it and then it does. Now I'm still on the last one, but I just wanted you to see that that's how you lock that. Let me turn it down so you can hear what I'm saying. So again, with my music not playing, I just really like that background. I went to the system here, and then I chose whatever motion I want. If I want to keep it locked for the duration of whatever I'm doing, I just may go to the lock feature here. Okay, trying to do this to the screen. Okay, and then you just turn it on. It just doesn't matter what button. I'll leave it off for now. So as I was playing, what happened was I just left that up there. Oops. Peek around the corner. I just left it up there and I chose it as it's doing so you could see it. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with the motion sensor depending on the style of music you're playing. So, for example, when I was playing, I want to say, what was it that I played? Oh, here's one. I love this free play style. Okay. Sometimes I play this song with, let's hear the intro here. Ooh, that's beautiful. Sometimes I like to play songs like Somewhere, out there, songs like that with just a nice, let me put on the intro, here we go. Right now it currently has a gong in there, okay? You can change it to whatever you want. Sometimes you'll do something like this, bell tree. Now I won't keep this camera on here anymore, but I'm just going to show you. I'm going to switch to bell tree. I might do the cymbal crash or something like that, just so I don't have to, if people are watching this, I don't want them to be busy watching a video. Do I have to put a disclaimer that this may contain motion? You know, sometimes they give you that disclaimer, flashing lights and things like that. So this is my disclaimer. Oh, I was getting dizzy. So all I'm doing is I took that style, the free play style, and I'm going to choose, let's see here. Ooh, that's nice. No, that's just a regular one. So this crash cymbal is more of like a roll type of a thing. So I might do... Going to do that every other measure, okay? But I'm showing you that, you know, there's things you can do like I love this free play style. It's so cool because you don't have to play on beat. It follows you. What I did? Did you know why I'm laughing? Did you catch what I did? Did you not catch it? Okay. So some of you will relate. Maybe you don't. I have 3 wonderful students here, by the way. So they're pros at this now, right? They're all nodding yes. But what I did out of habit, because some products that we play, the intro and the ending is on the same button. And so I pushed the intro to start the song. I played a little bit of it. And then when I was done, what did I do? Press the ending, right? Well, I accidentally put the intro instead. And then it was done. I was like, that ending sounds like the intro for some reason. And I looked and I went, oh, it is the intro. So I just did the intro again, and then I could. But that's actually, that's done purposely. There is an ending button, obviously you just heard it, but that's done intentionally so that sometimes when you're playing a song like that, You could be partway through. You know, easy play songs, many of us use easy play songs. And if you noticed, a lot of the easy play songs are short. And if you found the original music to those songs, sometimes they're a lot longer. Sometimes there's things in the songs that you don't even see in easy play. Like I think I Left My Heart in San Francisco, even Besame Mucho. Some of those songs actually have a whole different introduction that you don't see in easy play. But if we play the easy play songs and you get through the end of the song and you want to switch a setting or what have you, sometimes putting on an intro right in the middle of the song, and that's very common in music that's written in every genre, very popular. So it's a feature that you can use in that sense. That's why it was done that way. And of course the ending is the ending. But you can use the ending that way too. The trick is if you use the ending that way, make sure to turn it off before it actually finishes, because then everything kind of pauses. You have to reset it up. So now using the motion sensor, I was using the crash cymbal and I kind of use it at the end there. Oops. And that was, you know, so you could set up to a variety of little, from bell, down tree, you got up and so forth. And if it's a feature that you're going to use frequently, maybe throughout your presets, use that lock feature if you want to keep it there, okay? You can go a step further and you can program a preset with a different sound effect to program your own presets, all right? So that was free play. Now, I touched on this last month, this wonderful thing called the USB. And at the end of the class, my USB wasn't working, and I realized afterwards that I had a bad USB. I put it in the computer. It was complaining a lot. So anyway, I have one in here now. What I have in here is I had to move it from here to here because when I was playing, it was rattling. But I have in here now, most of you who have the Estey should have, maybe have, you either have a truncated group of presets from Marco from his classes that he did on Zoom. And I believe you here, you have all of the, well, at that time, all of them. It was about 4 years worth. So I have those 2020 through 2024 songs, okay? Now, there's a few things that for those of you who have the MK, you probably have, you should have, and I know I gave it out to people. I emailed it multiple times. I printed it. And these are very useful tools to constantly go back. Every time I do a class like this, I resort to these sheets. I always go back to some of the stuff that I've, just to look. So for example, and I'll reference some of these and play some music. So for example, I won't screen share it, but this sheet here, you can see it there, okay? This was way back about, I want to say a couple years ago. I wanted to do a concert showing off the product while I had it, because someone in Florida bought it and I knew it was getting ready to leave. And I figured, well, let me do a concert on it. And so I did what a lot of people do. You go through and I chose a bunch of things that I wanted to play, and I wrote the song. I wrote the style that I use. I wrote what button. It's working. Okay, let me turn you off. Otherwise, I keep going up, it's going to do that. Okay. What I did is I wrote, oh, wrong way. Oh, it's got transpose and I digress, right? So over here in the panel, I put on here what button to find the style, and then what setups I actually was going to potentially use. A lot of them 1 through 4. Some of them have 1, 7, 6, 9, 10, or 13. I didn't play them all, but I knew that those choices were great for that song for me. So sometimes this is a default for me. I'll start here as a starting point, and then I'll get other ideas. So when I was sitting here getting ready to talk about this feature, I was thinking, okay, what should I show with this? And then I looked on my sheet and went, oh, somewhere out there, and then I put, it says Golden Harp. But that's not what I played, is it? Right? So what happened is right above it, it says Over the Rainbow, free play. but I felt like playing somewhere out there. So then I looked at it very quickly and went, well, that'll probably work with free play. So you see where sometimes an idea for one song, I ended up just flip-flopping it. These reference guides are really useful. I encourage going back to them frequently. The other thing I handed out, and some of you may know this, but Bill Curry, who longtime Lowry person, right? When we were working on our first two Estey models, the Discovery 3 and the Freedom 3, because when Lowry announced that they weren't making organs anymore, it was very easy for someone to go, why don't you make the big one first? Yeah, you make a lot of money. The problem is you need a small product long term so that you keep introducing people to the hobby, because otherwise a big organ's not going to do any good, right? So we decided, let's make the first two organs first, and then we can worry about the big stuff. We had enough of the high-end elite models that we thought to hold us off. Now the pandemic goofed us up a little bit on that, but that's okay. We survived. And Bill Curry partnered with John Riley, Fletcher Music Centers, and Critchett's Dave Brown, and he had styles, and we sent overseas to the company that built our product. We said, here's what the current two models look like. We want it to look similar because people are going to have seen it for the first time, so they're not going to do a lot of comparing. Yeah, and we took a lot. Bill had a lot of styles, and he was very clever. He had to choose up to 36 very Lowry styles that we had to figure out most people enjoyed on an organ. That was pretty tricky when you're talking over 300, 400 choices, right? And we came up with 36, what we thought were really good choices. And they're on the Freedom 3. Well, since we owned that product and we owned the name, when we hired Marco to do this, those 36 styles were inserted in here, okay? And so we had a little sheet that we handed out to people that bought the Freedom 3, and he said, here's the styles, here's all the possible songs you can play with those styles. Okay, if you want, what do I play with this one? And sometimes it's a given, You're Cheating Heart will go great with country. And those styles exist in here, only they're a little better, obviously, because we could do more with those on this instrument. But essentially, those styles do exist in there. So that's a good starting point. So, for example, I'm looking at the list now, and I see tons of them that I want to play, but I'll pick one. Here's one. Wonderful World was a style on the Lowry. Yamaha has a similar version. I forget what they call it. And on here we called it Wonderful 6/8. So, and I even wrote down what button to push. So I'm going to push the ballad. And it's right there, Wonderful 6/8. I'm going to touch 1-16. And fortunately, I know this song by heart and mind. And it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm just going to use some of the settings. I'm going to bounce around. Here we go. Oh, intro. That was nice. I almost pushed the intro again, though. This time I got it. So I went from 1, 2, and 3 in the top and the bottom. Now, by the way, did you notice the presets changed? Yes? So on the foot switches, there's 4 switches here, pedals, but I just used the main one, the one to the right. I've never used this feature a lot, but I'm starting to rethink that, the change in the presets. So the switch to the right is defaults to changing the presets. And I just figured rather than me taking my hands off the keys, I got to number 3. Now, if I kept going, it would go in order, and then I jumped to number 13. Now, don't ask me why. I just felt like touching it and see what happens. And what I noticed, by the way, this was really cool. It came up with a harmony, one of the new harmonies called, now I'll tell you what I did. So I'm on that wonderful 6/8, and I just used 1, 2, and 3, and I went from the top and the bottom, okay? And then I jumped to 13 on a whim to see what would happen. And I didn't get what I was expecting. I was expecting a note with a harmony, something nice. And I noticed something different with the piano. I don't know what it did, but the harmony is called triple octave. And this is what you got. These little extra little things in there, which is really cool. So, you know, there are a lot of the familiar harmonies, like many of the products, your 3 parts, your 4 parts, your blocks, but there's AI harmony that you have. You have 3-part, of course. This one was called triple, what was it called? What did I say? Triple octave. You have rolling chords, AI duet, AI harp, AI strings, AI choir. The list just goes on and on and on. You know, absolutely fabulous. So anyway, so what I did is I took one setup, and then I used my 1 through 16. And if you don't have any of these that I'm mentioning, just reach out to me and I can get them for you. Another thing that we ran into was, I said there was how many from the Freedom 3 that were allowed? 36, right? Well, there's more than 36 styles on here, okay? So I forget what the number is, but there's a lot more, okay? And we ran into what I was going to expect. And I ran into this problem when the Yamaha came out. I ran into this problem when this came out. There were a lot of styles there that I looked at and I go, what do I play with that? Okay, and sometimes I put it on and I listen and I think of something. But every now and then I got stumped, like, what would be a great song, something different, okay? And again, some of them are obvious. When you're in the Latin category, just put it on. If it's upbeat, fast, you think of Latin songs. So Marco, and I know I handed this out too, if you lost it or if you put it away, this was another reference point. So what I did was, if I can find it, oh, here we go. What I did is I asked him I said, can you do me a favor and just sit down, pick a rhythm. I don't think he had to pick a rhythm. I think he just looked at the title and he said, this will work great with that, because he made a lot of these styles. He worked on a lot of these. So he's played a lot of these a lot in a 2-year period. So he probably just went, oh, 8B1, yeah, I know that sounds like that would be great. And what he did is he came up with a list of all of the styles, so by group. So it says 8-beat and 16-beat. So that's the first button up there. And he listed all of the styles that are in that group, and then he put one song suggestion next to each one. Okay? Now this, and then so forth. So rock and boogie, all of the styles, and hey, this is a great song. I wouldn't be surprised if there's one that's duplicated, but I think he tried to make one different song title for every single one. I looked through it and I said, I know he did it. You know, he had to have, and I didn't find one yet. Okay, but it's a good reference point. So because what happens is, Have you ever looked at a song sometimes, or you hear a song and sometimes you think, oh, that's also similar to this song? Believe it or not, one of the ones that I tell a lot is Bill Bailey, Won't You Come Home, right? And Cabaret. If you're not careful with that song, sometimes I'll start playing Cabaret and accidentally start playing Bill Bailey, because the starting notes are very similar. The tempo is almost the same. One's probably in the Dixieland Charleston and one's on the Broadway, but the beat and the tempo of those songs are typically very similar. So if you think about... So if you're not careful, so I did that once by accident, and then afterwards people loved it and they thought I did a medley on purpose. And I said, yeah, it was what I meant all along. But the point is there are a lot of songs that sometimes have very similar. So it's a great tool to use if you have these handy. Just go through them sometimes and look at, and some of these songs I don't really like to play, but I'm interested in this style. I might find something. So for example, let's see here, Wind Beneath My Wings. I do like that song. I don't know it very well. Let me try something else here. Let's see. Okay, 8-beat modern, Every Breath You Take. Okay, I don't know if you ever heard of an artist by the name of Sting, group called Police. And even though we're a rock band, this one is really not too rocky. It's actually a really pretty song, but a lot of people don't realize, I think he's stalking somebody. If you read the lyrics. I know Marco said this too. A lot of times we hear the melody and the song, and that's what we get us. And I don't even know what the lyrics are. And then one time I read the lyrics of a song and I went, oh, that's sad. The Tennessee Waltz was one of those. I actually read the lyrics out loud once all these years, and I was reading, and I'm like, man, this is terrible. This guy's losing his lady to someone else. And I think this song here has to do like he's obsessed with somebody. He's every breath you take, every move you make, he's watching. But it's a really pretty melody. So I'm going to put on 8-beat modern. Let's see here. And I'm going to think of something, 6. Oh, it's the next page. All right. Okay. Let's see if I can play it. All right. Listen to that and I go, you know what? What would happen if I speed that up a little bit and try something like this? And I just go through the list and I just find the stuff that I normally play. So it's a great little tool. Another tool that we all are used to is the song setup, naturally, right? So song setup, I love song setup because of the same reason. All of the song setups coincide with the best songs ever. But as I look at this, there are some songs I have no clue what they are, so I'd have to listen to them. There's some songs I know what they are, but I don't like them. I don't know how you like every single song. I try to have an open mind. And then there's some that I do like, but I think, boy, I could play this one and that one too. So I'm already looking at like, which one? These are all great. Georgia on My Mind, Hey Jude, some really great songs. And to do that, it's really simple. And for those of you who are maybe researching this instrument, to add it in your home, okay, let's see. Safe driving mode. What is this? Okay, I never saw that before. I think it thinks I'm driving while I'm doing this because I was moving around. So we do have some students that do that, by the way. I won't mention any names, but that gentleman that I told you was 90-something, I saw him one time in our Zoom class, and he was at his house. And then I looked up about 15 minutes later, and the camera's here, and he's driving a convertible. And I see him driving, and I see him like this. I just thought it was the coolest thing. That means his hands was on the wheel. But he wasn't looking at the camera, thank goodness. Okay, so real simple here. Song setup, really great. I go to this, it says overall setups, I just touch song, and then the list of song titles come up. All right, and what was the first one I said? Georgia? All right, we'll go to Georgia on My Mind. And then I just simply, you could hit load or hit confirm, confirm. Oh, load, confirm, sorry. All right, presets loaded, okay. All right, so now I just play the song, or I attempt to play the song. Let me put the camera back here. Can't do this and that and the other. If I only had a third arm. Okay. All right, so let me see what I get here, see what happens, and have some fun with this. Okay, make sure I did it right. Okay, load, confirm, okay. Trumpet, but I don't know if you noticed this when I hit. He ran out of breath. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, you know, so many cool things. So now if I want to take that same, well, we'll just take the same one as an example. And I want to use my 16 presets here. The only thing we have to remember is to lock it by pushing the D button and while you're playing it. So, oops. skip the intro, but if you're... Alright, I'm going to push my D button and just push the preset that I want. Saxophone. However, I saved myself. But you can always go back and push the right button. All right, so now the USB, we touched on the USB in the past, but pretty simple. When you, but another little trick here for those of you, it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish here. But I'm going to try to do this just temporarily because... Okay, let's see, pushes, replace spotlight. So over there, all right, way over there, there's a button that can't, maybe it can, I'll just unplug it. Okay, all right, so right here, it's pretty simple. You have your loading and your recording and all things you could do with the USB. Right in there it says load registration, MIDI or song. If you just push the registration button, what happens is it comes up in the screen, and I really love this. Everything's alphabetical. And these happen to be Marco's class songs that he did during that time. So the beauty of this is that you can just scroll through, but you'll notice very closely there's two terminology. One says always mine, mid and reg. Registration are the presets. So naturally, if you're going to play that song, and you want the setups that he used to go with it, you would use reg. And mid is him playing the song. Now the beauty of the songs they're playing, it's a really helpful tool. So if I'm having trouble with the song, I just load in the setting, the song. I did it already, but let me switch cameras here. Started them sooner than I wanted. Okay, my microphone's still on. All right, so let me find. Okay, I got always on my mind. All right, and I normally play this song in the key of C, and I can do it in F, but I'm new at this. I'm learning the song. I'm having trouble with it. We say this a lot about a lot of the recordings. If you have the music and the recording, it's a great tool to play along with. You can change the presets if you want. I'm just going to leave it here. And so I'm just going to press play again. Whatever setup I have on, I just do it. fade them out, whatever you want. All right, so it's a really helpful tool, and it's pretty simple. Everything operates on the exact same two features. So for those of you, oops, oh, give me a thumbs down. Stop that. Did you see that? Sometimes it determines what I'm doing, and I'm not doing that. Thumbs down to you. Yeah, it's like, no, you're making it too easy. You're cheating. Yes, I am, Zoom. I forgot what was I talking about. Okay, so using the songs is really good because a lot of people sometimes ask how we can teach improvisation. Sometimes improvising is self-taught naturally. And a lot of times it's done by doing like I just did. Taking a song that's recorded by someone else and just kind of rehearsing it. It's hard to do it when you have multiple things happening, okay, unless you're really comfortable with your left hand. But a lot of times if you start with like this, I'll play the song a few times along with it. And what will happen inevitably is I'm going to do some notes that he's not doing. That's not what I see. And then naturally what will happen is I'll do things and I'll go, oh, I like that. I like what I did there. I like what I did. And that's really the start of improvising. And you can do that if you have songs that are playing. You can just play along with it. Some of you have the Ultra. It's the exact same concept. Everything on there that I just showed, the loading and the playing, is identical. And so some of those songs that Marco and Carrie created for the Ultra package were songs that I never play, and Carrie and Marco play them all the time. And so when I was put on the spot, you know, it's kind of hard to do it. So what I'm doing when you're not around is I go and I play it, and I start playing along with it. So I do it too. And that's how I learn songs with it. Okay? All right, we'll close up with one more song. Let's see, did I get all through my little bullet points? There's my sheet. Nope, I did not. But that means I got material next month. I'll close off with a song. Let's see. Let me look at some of my cheat sheets here and see if something grabs me that I might want to do. You know what? I did see something. I did see something I wanted to do. I don't know what sheet I found it. Oh, there it is. Okay. We'll have some fun with this. I'll do a little gospel, blues and gospel. Okay, blues and gospel. This one here. And auto setup 1 to 16. Okay. All right. So we'll have a little fun here. Hopefully you learned something today. Did you learn at least one thing? I taught several things, so hopefully something of interest for you. This style is really cool. It's called Scat Gospel. Okay, so if you haven't used it yet, if you have it, if you don't have this, call me right away. It's available. All right, but I think I'm trying to remember now, so I might do it a couple of times. There's that thumbs down again. I'm gonna have to keep my hands up the whole time. Now, how come it's not doing it thumbs up when I do it? Come on, thumbs up. Okay. I think it's fill 2, maybe. I don't know. You'll discover. If I don't hear it, you'll see what I'm. There's a guy in there that likes to say, "Oh yeah," or something like that. So okay, here we go.
Oh yeah.
There it is. All right, so what I did, I like both fills. You can only have one thing at a time on the sensor. So I programmed the motion sensor with fill 2, and I use my foot for fill 1. So what I'm in the mood for. I'm in the mood for fill 2, I reach up, and fill 1, I just move to the left. All right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's fun. The scat gospel. So fill 2 is what does that little trick for you. So anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me today out there. I hope you had some fun listening to some great music, learned something, or whatever, all of the above, all right? Yep. Okay. As always, stay safe, everyone. We are in some crazy times. Be kind to another. That's all I can say. Be kind to your Fletcher salespeople. Very important. Very important. Okay? Thank you. We'll see you real soon on Zoom or in the store or wherever, okay? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Keep looking the wrong way. The camera's up there.